up, YouTube? Techie Champion here, and this is going to be the third video in my series on backing up, restoring, and upgrading an iOS image. I want to put a little warning out there before we get started. Make sure that you've watched the first two videos in the series before you decide to proceed any further in this video. We're actually going to be deleting the flash from our router in this video, and if you don't have your image successfully backed up to your TFTP server, you potentially break your router. So make sure you've watched the first two videos and you're comfortable with them. Make sure that you have your image backed up successfully to your TFTP server. I also want to put it out there that I'm not responsible for any damage that you might cause or do to your own device. If you damage your router, it's on you. With that being said, let's go ahead and continue. So right now I'm just in Packet Tracer. I'm going to go ahead and do it here in Packet Tracer first, and then we're going to move over to the real equipment. So just drag yourself out of router in Packet Tracer, hit the CLI command, and get yourself into privileged exec mode. Once in privileged exec mode, you're going to issue the show flash command, just so we can see what the file name is that's stored in flash, the file name of our iOS image here. Once you have that, we're going to enter the delete flash command. And delete flash will delete that file from flash memory on your router, so make sure that you feel comfortable doing this. If you don't feel comfortable, go ahead and just practice in Packet Tracer a little bit. It could potentially break your router if you don't know what you're doing, but it is good knowledge to be able to recover from a disastrous scenario like this if for some reason the image got deleted from your router. So anyway, I'm going to hit enter here, and it's going to ask me for the file name that's in flash that I want to delete here, so I'm just going to copy and paste it down. Hit enter, and it's going to ask me to confirm. Hit enter again, and the image has been successfully deleted from the router. As simple as that. So I'm going to go ahead and type reload, and it's going to put me in ROM mon mode, or ROM monitor mode. So I'm going to go ahead and switch over to the real equipment now, which I already have my router in ROM monitor mode here. What ROM monitor mode is basically a workspace that allows you to restore your image. You can do other things in here too, but we'll talk about those types of things in another video. So now that we're in ROM mon mode, we're going to have to go ahead and configure some information so the router can successfully talk to the TFTP server in order to download the file that we need. So the first thing we're going to want to do is hit our caps lock key, and we're going to want to give the router an IP address so it can communicate on the network or communicate with the TFTP server. So in order to do that, we're going to type IP underscore address equals 192.168.1.1. Now keep in mind that the commands in ROM monitor mode are completely different than the commands that are in the iOS, so bear with me here. Anyway, after we enter our IP address, hit enter. The next thing we're going to want to give it is a subnet mask. So in order to do that, we're going to type IP underscore subnet underscore mask equals, and give it a subnet mask. So we'll give it the /24 subnet mask of 255.255.255.0. Hit enter. So now our router has an IP address, it has a subnet mask. The next thing we need to configure is a default gateway. So in order to do that, we're going to type in default underscore gateway equals, and go ahead and just give it the TFTP server's IP address. That way, if the router doesn't know what to do with a packet, it'll forward it automatically to the TFTP server, and that's all we want right now. So in the previous videos, if you remember correctly, The TFTP server's IP address is 192.168.1.2 and hit enter. So now that that's done, we're going to need to tell the router who the TFTP server actually is. It knows that its default gateway is the .2 IP address, but it doesn't actually know that that's the IP address of the TFTP server. So what we're going to do is type TFTP underscore server equals 192.168.1.2 and hit enter. So now it has an IP address, it has a default gateway, it has the TFTP server information. Next thing we need to tell it is the file name that we want to get from our TFTP server. So in order to do that, we need to type TFTP underscore file equals, then we're going to need to open up that TFTP root folder that we got when we installed SolarWinds in the previous video and look for the file that you uploaded to the server from the second video. Mine happens to be right here. So I'm going to go ahead and type in that file name. Make sure you remove the caps lock to do this. So once you have that typed in, double check to make sure that it's correct and hit enter. Now the router has all the information it needs to go ahead and download that file. So in order to download it, we need to issue the TFTP DNLD command, or TFTP download, and hit enter. And it's going to say invoke this command for disaster recovery only. All existing data and all partitions will be lost. That's fine. This is a disaster. We need to recover this image. So I'm going to type yes and hit enter. And it should start to download here. And there it goes. Now it's downloading that image. So once it's done, it's going to tell you if it was successful or not. If for some reason you get an error about a bad checksum, you're going to want to go ahead and type TFTP underscore checksum equals 0 and then issue that TFTP download command again, and then it should work for you. I only had this problem on the one router here, so I did a little research and it worked out. And that's pretty much it. Once you get the image downloaded, you're gonna issue the reset command and it'll reload the router and boot the image. I'm gonna go ahead and make a part 3 video here about upgrading your image. So I hope you enjoyed this. Stay tuned for the next video. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.